EDS economic disclosure statement screen.
We definitely can.
And you can hear me, so thank you
I
very
can,
much.
and I'm going to turn off my mic so they can hear you clear.
Thank you, Jackie. Welcome to the Online EDS workshop. My name is Benjamin Ho, a Deputy Procurement Officer at the City of Chicago. I've been working with the Online EDS since its inception back in 2010. So if you have questions, certainly I will be more than happy to answer them for you. And I recognize that we have different folks in the audience. Some of you have been working with the EDS for a long time, and some of you may be new vendors who are doing business with the city for the first time. And we would try to make this informative to you, regardless of your background with regards to the EDS. But I do want to spend much of the time today talking about the changes to EDS that are coming. As you see the screen here, it is different from the screen you're used to seeing, because this is now a preview of what is to come later in the month. And this is something that will be a focus of today's presentation. I do want to start, for the benefit of those who have not worked with the EDS before, with a little background on the EDS in general. So the EDS, of course, stands for Economic Disclosure Statement. It is a compliance document that is required for everybody who contracts with the city. So if you're looking to do business with DPS, Procurement Services, or with one of the delegate agencies, departments such as Family and Support Services, and maybe Department of Housing, etc., required to submit an EDS prior to your contract or your grant being awarded by the city. It is required by a host of different city and state and federal laws. So the EDS is one consolidated document that attests to your compliance with all these various laws that you need to be in compliance with in order to enter into a contract with the city. That is the reason why you are required to fill out an EDS. And the EDS does require a number of questions to be filled out. And nice thing about the online EDS is that once you've answered these background questions, then the system will autofill new EDSs. So if you bid on many contracts with the City of Chicago, then it's not necessary to answer the same questions over and over and over again. The system will record your answers the first time and then autofill them as much as it can for your new bids with the city. And then there will be some questions that are unique to each transaction, each contract with the city. These are what we call contract-specific questions, and those would be the only ones you would need to answer from scratch each time. So the online EDS is very handy for that. But let's then move from the background to the features of the new EDS, and then also a little background on why we're updating the EDS. I do want to mention for everybody that the content, the online EDS form itself, and all the various legal questions that are in there is not changing. That is staying the same. What's changing is the look and feel of the system and the navigation of the system. You see that the EDS menus are a little bit different from what you're used to seeing. And so this has several benefits. It's a much faster system. Where the technology behind this facelift has been upgraded, so it runs faster. As you can see, it's better looking, and also it has the ability to work on tablet computers such as iPads and mobile phones as well. So the previous EDS was fixed at a certain size, and so if you were trying to do this on tablets or mobile phones, you would have difficulty with this. This will automatically adjust itself to tablets and phones. As I mentioned earlier, this will go live. It's scheduled for mid to late December. Some of you have seen announcements for this in DPS alerts and also on the EDS screen. There will be additional communications emailed to everybody who has an EDS account in the coming next few weeks. But that said, if you are looking to use the online EDS, the very first thing you do is to register yourself so that you have an account. So we'll do that right now. And this is the very first step we do in using the EDS is to do vendor registration. You click on that, and you see this message, your session is expired, but say that we are a company registering for the very first time. We'll do that. So one change that you'll see from the existing system is that you can pick your own passwords. The old system would first assign you one, and then you would have to then go in and change it. You'll get to pick it straight from the get-go here. So and I'm going to use in so you see that the vendor registration process looks different from what you're used to do, but it's asking you the exact same questions. These are background information to create your account, and then as you become a contact, the system knows who you are. So we're going to say, so then it is required to have an FEIN number to register your company, and this allows the system to make sure that your registration is unique. Okay, so then when you're done with your data entry, this gives you a confirmation screen, and you will see here, this is the new feature in the system to validate registrations, so that you'll see this, I am not a robot. You may also see, if you're coming in for the first time, you may see one of these puzzles where you have to pick out a stop sign, a school bus, or something. Some of you may have encountered that when registering new accounts for other websites. This has been added as an industry standard method of increasing security in the registration process. So now your registration is complete. So what you have to do, another change from before is that once you registered before, you were able to go immediately to sign on. If you were to try that now, unfortunately, what will happen is that the system will say you need to go back and validate your registration. So you have to go to your email, and we'll do that here. And then you see this here. You'll see an email that says that your account has been approved and that you need to click on this to validate your account, to activate your account. So now, once you've done that, it says that your account is now verified, and now you can go on to the Online EDS. So we'll go ahead and then you log in. And you notice that the forgot your password and forgot your user ID are still there, but instead of being in the upper right-hand corner of the screen, you're now part of this password box. So you see that, again, you're doing the same steps, but it looks a little different because now you have this blue logon box instead of going to the upper right of your screen. Now, we are now in the Online EDS system. And I'm going to walk you through some of the navigation changes that we've seen. So as you can tell, one of the major changes has to do with the menu system. The menus used to be going down the left side of the screen. Now what you've seen is that the menu stretches across the screen. And so you have home, which brings you back to the home page, which has announcements just like you're used to in the current system. EDS search is still there. The search functions, the search fields are still the same as what you're used to. They've just been rearranged a little bit, so it's there. Now, there's a bunch of menu items that you may be used to, and in order not to have a whole long menu, in order to squeeze things on the screen, they've been combined. So you see Create New is still here, Recently Submitted, Return to City, Drafts, and EDS in Process is all combined under My EDS. Now we have the various sites, site administration and user administration, which you saw in the previous EDS, which is available for EDS captains, the administrators for the company, has been combined under a menu item called Company Admin. So Company Admin is where you see these functions where you can approve new users and change information such as your company address, legal name, etc., can be handled from Company Admin. Now, the various items that were more related to help and support have also been combined under support. If you click on it, you can see there's announcements, the manuals, the videos, the frequently asked questions, the privacy policy, the contact us has all been put there together. My profile. So that function is still there, just looks a little different. And you can update your password here and change it here. You can update your email address and any other information regarding your account. Now, this is not your company information. That's done under site administration. But this is your information about you personally. So those functions are in the existing system. I'm just showing you how they look in the new system. So once you've been registered, your first thing is, of course, you really would like to create a new EDS and fill it out. This is essential as a condition of bidding for DPS. If you are working with other user departments that award non-DPS contracts, meaning contracts awarded by the commissioner of that department without going through the chief procurement officer, or contracts which are delegate agency contracts or grants, etc., those are those may require an EDS once you're notified of award, but we do require them at the time of bidding for DPS. So again, everything that you see here already exists in the current EDS. It just looks different here. So the question, do you have an invitation number? The answer for most people is no, unless you have companies that own your company. And we can take questions about that, but because here we're demonstrating the basics, we won't get into that now. So is this EDS for a contract or an information update? Most people should be selecting contract. An information update just keeps your information updated in the system so it doesn't expire. However, it's not a full EDS. So you see some of this information has pre-filled your company's address and then who the contact person is. If there's multiple account holders for the EDS, you'll see them here under this drop-down menu. And then you go ahead and you click out to fill out the EDS. You see that some changes to the navigation here. Instead of the orange tabs being at the top, now you see that each tab here, separate tab that goes down the left side of the screen. So you can see all those tabs that you saw before that you're used to are still here. One nice feature is that the paging, if a tab has more than one screen, now you'll see the screens listed here. So you see the general information tab has two screens on page 1 and page 2. And you can see how the system attempts to pre-fill as much as it can. This grayed out information has to be changed outside of the EDS in the registration information, and which you can do outside of this form. So you click next. Brief description of the contract. We're going to say this here. And then you can select the department you're working with. We're going to say that it's procurement services. You put in the spec number. So you see these little question marks, which are contact sensitive help, still exists. This is a function that we used to have, still here, just looks a little different. And then what kind of disclosing party are you? We're a privately held company, and we're incorporated in Illinois. And then the directors, here you've put in the individual so then here we say that for both, we'll confirm it. Notice then it adds your entry here. And you can add as many as you want here. And at any time, you can hit save to save your work. We do recommend that you do this regularly. So in case you get disconnected, your internet connection goes bad and kicks you out, then you don't lose your work. If you don't save, you will lose your work if you lose your internet connection. You see, again, now we've moved to the ownership tab screen automatically. There are 3 tabs here. I'm sorry, 3 screens here. Okay. I want to add, she's the full owner. So and she's 100% owner. So you see, the ownership screen used to be very colorful, and there would be buttons of many different colors. But these buttons have now been replaced by different icons. You see, the add owner is a person with a plus sign. Remove owner is a person with a minus sign. Edit owner is a person with a pencil. Invite owner is an I, but it's not in the, it's invite owner here with the symbol and the text instead of the little I button. And the R button to recertify is now spelled out recertify owner, R. And just like before, if you say some questions lead to other questions. So if you say yes, then you're going to have to explain yourself here, and then you can do that here for the purposes of our demonstration. We won't do that. If you have retained parties, subcontractors will add them here. And so you see, adding subs is just the way it was before, only it looks a little different. And you still have to specify what they are. Let's say they're performing at 5%, estimated and paid, confirm. So here we are. We've added a subcontractor. And then here we're not hiring any people because our subs are all legal companies. Go through certifications, federal certifications, acknowledgements. These are now just attestations that you're in compliance with laws and regulations. You see that this is the lengthiest part of the EDS. It's 7 pages long. Here we'll say, again, most of this will be copied by the system, and it will autofill the next time you fill out an EDS. So the first one takes the longest. The second EDSs and follow-up EDSs can be quite short. If nothing has changed, then you can accept the autofills, and then the system will take it. And it's saved now because it worked for a little while. and the ability to have links that explain what you're certifying to. Not sure. In addition to the blue question marks, you also have these links. You can click on the link to see more information behind that link. And here, if you're not sure what an affiliated entity is, it's defined here for you. And most of you guys are not financial institutions. And most of you have not been around since the slavery era. So, certifications for federally funded matters. Now, this one is important. Do need to check, if you're not certain with this one, you need to check with your procurement specialist, or if you're dealing with somebody who's outside of procurement, whoever your city contact is, you need to ask them whether there is any federal funding with this, with your project, because you may have some state funds, but it's actually flow-throughs from the federal government, in which case federal rules may still apply, in which case you need to answer yes for this. So when in doubt, ask your procurement specialist or your city contact if it's non-DPS. And we'll say here it's not. So no. Reach the end of the online EDS, you have the ability to provide supplemental information. So for example, let's say you were unable to certify to some of the questions along the way, and you need to provide an explanation. What you can do is you can attach, you have several places to put the explanation. If it's short enough, you can put the explanation in the box that would have popped up before. You can type 1,000 characters in this box, or you can add a PDF attachment here. This is required here. That it be PDF. You can't upload Word or what have you, Excel, PowerPoint. It has to be PDF here. Upload anything here. And then we'll go ahead and hit save. And then we'll go ahead and validate the EDS and submit. So here, ready to submit. You want to make sure you're attesting that you're authorized to submit this EDS and that all the statements and certifications are true, accurate, and complete, and that submitting this form constitutes making the oath associated with notarization. So the EDSs do not need to be notarized because you're basically swearing to it here. And so you have to sign it by entering your password and your secret question. And then when you're done, provided that you entered a full EDS and not an informational update, you can print your EDS certificate. So this is the same certificate that you're used to receiving. And this is what you would need to submit with a bid or an RFP with the Department of Procurement Services. If you're working with other departments, they will usually ask you for this too. They might just ask you for the number, because if they have the number, they can pull up the certificate as well. And that brings you through the filing of an EDS. Now I'm going to log out. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to log out. I will show you to create a second EDS. Let's say you have EDS on file, and then you decide you're going to respond to another opportunity with the city. Let's say it's another bid. Then you can come back. If I click on contract, I'm going to demonstrate to you the autofill feature, which is really, really nice. It's one of the nicest things about the EDS. This, as you see autofill before, this stuff is contract specific, so it makes no sense to autofill it. But do you see these answers to the questions about whether you're a privately held company? These are all auto-filled already for you. And as you see, your officers and directors autofill, and your information autofills. So the bulk of your EDS is already created for you the second time around. So again, a very nice, handy feature for the EDS that makes your life simple. So this concludes our tour of the changes to the online EDS. You see that really it's more or less the same old EDS that you're used to. It just looks a little more friendly and is a little faster and is now mobile friendly as well. So stay tuned for announcements from us with regards to when this will roll out, but you should expect it to be the end of to the end of this month. And one thing I would like to caution you is that when it does roll out, the one thing that will change for everybody is that passwords will all need to be reset for everybody. However, very few people will be asked to change their user IDs if it's not compatible with the new one or there's some other internal conflicts there. You'll receive a separate email notifying you of what your new user ID is. That should only be a small percentage of those of your current users. If you don't receive that, you can log on just as you're used to. It's going to ask you to change your password the first time, and then you'll be good to go. All EDSs that you have in the system should continue to be in the system, and then if you have anything you're working on, it should continue to work just as it did before. So with that, I'd like to then take questions at this point.
Ben, did you want to look at the Q&A and answer them yourself, or did you want me to read them off to you?
Read them because I don't see them here on my screen.
Okay, it says, what is an invitation? And if you can also address if a person has an account already and the authorized user has left the employment, what is the process to update the contact? So what is an invitation, and then what is the process to update the contact?
We demonstrated the first person registering and opening an account. So that's Annie Apple. So in that case, she becomes automatically the EDS captain. If you register again, the second person, say it's banana. Oops. So they look up and then they register. They're going to be asked to validate. So notice here it says the vendor already exists. They can't re-register it. It's going to go to Annie, who already exists, because if you try to add them, it's not going to let you. So what this does is it refers you to the person who is the EDS captain. And then once you do that, the EDS captain will need to approve your account. And then at that point, you can proceed. Brings us to the second question, which is what happens if your person who approved accounts has left? In that case, you need to contact the city at online EDS at cityofchicago.org. Repeating, online EDS, all one word, at cityofchicago.org, and we will deactivate the account of the person who left, and that will allow a new user to register and become the EDS captain. Let's move on to the next question.
All right. We have two more. If you are a current vendor that already completed the EDS online, will previous answers and information be pre-populated when you're creating a new form? And are you able to save your work and come back to finish it later?
All right. The first question is, is it going to pre-fill? And the answer is yes. So I just showed you earlier at the very end of the demo what the pre-population looks like. So all the autofill brings the information. There is a caveat to it, though. The information stays for up to 1 year. Beyond a year, the information is considered stale. Our law department doesn't want information more than a year old. So the system will no longer autofill after a year. So if you leave an EDS for more than a year, it's no longer considered presumptively valid. You will have to re-enter it all over from scratch. That said, this brings up the idea of an EDS information update. And the update is the system's way of prompting you to say, hey, your information is coming close to a year. We want to, if you want to bid again with us, you need to confirm the information, make any changes and updates, and then you get another year of information pre-filling. And so when you receive an information update email, if you want to continue doing business with the city in the future and bidding for new opportunities, we strongly recommend that you fill out the update. If you don't, it's not required, because some people, we understand, some people have one-time contracts. I've done my thing. I'm ready to move on. I'm not going to do business with the city again. Then you can just ignore the information update, and the information will expire. You can always come back after your account doesn't expire, but the information does. So then you have to re-enter everything. If you come back 3 years later and say, oh yeah, now I'm interested in a particular bid project, I can re-enter EDS information. And I just realized I forgot to answer the question earlier about what an invitation is. So let me go back to that. So an invitation is if your company has multiple layers of ownership, meaning your company is owned by by a holding company, which might be in turn owned by a trust or something, or a mutual fund or whatever. In that case, you are required to disclose multiple layers of ownership. And the invitation numbers tie all the EDSs for the applicant who does business with the city with all of its various owner EDSs. There may be one level of ownership, there may be a dozen. We've seen extremely complicated cases, but all of them would utilize invitation numbers. But if you do not, if you're owned directly by, let's say, some individuals, like in this example, we have Annie Apple owning the company, invitation numbers are not used. They're only used if you have corporate or other legal entity ownership of your company. Question?
Yes, I think we do. Basically, it's asking, is this EDS captain contact related to other certification contracts with the city and the county? We have trouble removing prior main contacts along with some login information. Some long regarding certification. Is that it?
Okay.
Yeah.
So certification, the answer is this system is not connected to the city's certification system. So if you are referring to MWB certification, and maybe the questioner can confirm or not in the proper place, I guess the Q&A part or chat part, they, your certification record and your EDS record are not related. So they have nothing to do with each other, if that answers the question. And also this system is only in use by the city of Chicago. It is not required for Cook County and any other disclosures. Cook County, I believe, does require a disclosure, but their disclosure is a completely separate set of questions than the city's disclosure. So they don't cross over, and filling one out does not meet the legal obligations for the other.
Ben, also they want to know, we'll have to set up a new account because current certain left firm our once new account is set up, will we have to fill in the EDS from scratch, or will it be carried from the old account?
Okay, so the nice thing is once your EDS captain has been removed and the new one applies, if it's the same FEIN number, then you have access to all the previously filed EDSs that are in the system. So you have the complete history of what was filed. You can see anything that was filed. And if your information is less than a year old, yes, it will continue to pre-fill with any new EDSs you file. If the information that is in there is from more than a year ago, you can see it and you can then use it to, if you're not sure how it was answered before, how your predecessor answered, you have the complete history of how they answered, but you would have to retype it if it's more than a year old. Other questions?
I think, oh, hold on one second. I'm just trying to peruse. Is this for prime vendors? Do they have to register as well?
So the applicant is the EDS term for anybody who does business with the city of Chicago. That specifically refers to prime vendors. Subcontractors do not fill out EDSs. So it's prime vendors and their corporate owners fill out EDSs. Individual owners do not fill out EDSs. So if you're a prime company and you have 5 owners, none of them have to fill out a personal EDS. It's just for the prime vendor and its owner companies.
I think that is it. I think some of the other questions were just a repeat of some that were already asked. If there are any additional questions, they can email us, but I think I got them all. Okay, I think we got them all, Ben. I do. I'll just give one last shout out. If we didn't get your question correct, feel free to email me right at this moment because we're going to close down. But I do want to just go ahead and thank Benjamin Ho for imparting that great information out to us for today's session. And I do want to thank all of the participants for participating in today's workshop. Ben, I do have one additional question that I'm going to ask you. I am not taking questions in the chat. So if you could you please put your question in the Q&A so I have it there, because I'm doing this by myself and I got to look both places. People are filling out chats and people are also filling out people are also filling out the Q&A, but let me say that this recording of this presentation, if you'd like to go back and do it step by step, it will be up shortly. We will try to get it up on the, just keep checking back and it should be up there. Our person that normally puts it on the website and all of that is out right at the moment, but we will definitely get it up very soon. And you can find that information in www.youtube.com/Chicago DPS. Once you get to the DPS landing page, go ahead and look for the search bar, type in the name of this workshop, and all of the actual workshop recording will come up, so you'll see it. Because this is a new one or an extension of one we already had, there might be a few other ones, but this one will come up as well, and we will definitely we'll definitely have an opportunity to get that up as soon as possible. Being one of the questions that the last questions that is this EDS captain contact related to other related to other certification contracts with this. Oh, I already asked that one. Okay, I'm sorry, it highlighted that one.
Right. Okay. So the answer then is no.
Okay. And I think that what is your email address? They're asking, Ben.
So it's benjamin.ho@cityofchicago.org.
Okay. And I believe you answered this one, but this is the last one I'm taking. We just completed the EDS active procurement RFQ that is due in January. Do we have to go back and redo the EDS if this new EDS site launches before RFQ deadline.
No.
Okay.
All the EDSs will stay safe and secure where they are. So if you've already filed it, there's no need to file another one.
Okay, and so everyone is thanking you for enlightening them on this topic, and we want to thank them for participating and spending a part of their day with us. I say to you, stay safe, stay well, wash your hands, social distance, wear your mask, and hopefully you can see Ben live and in person at some point next year doing this presentation. Thanks so much, and we will see you soon at another workshop. Thank you, Ben.
Okay, thank you, Jackie. Bye-bye.
Have a great one.